There's an expiration date on your body that nobody printed on your pay stub. If you're a blue-collar worker, an electrician, a welder, a nurse, somebody who spent 20 years on concrete, your body is the engine that earns the money. And engines wear out. The question was never whether yours will, it's whether you'll see it coming.
Every trade has that guy, the one who could outwork anybody at 30, and by 50 he's easing out of the truck each morning like the ground might bite him. We watch it happen to the men ahead of us and still tell ourselves it won't happen to us. 9 out of 10 people underestimate the odds their own frame gives out before they're done working. The Social Security Administration puts a hard number on it. A 20-year-old starting out today has a 1 in 4 chance of becoming disabled before they ever reach retirement age. 1 in 4. That's not a freak accident. That's a coin flip you're already halfway losing. So let's answer the real question, the one nobody wants to say out loud. What happens when you can't do the work anymore? And what can you do now while you still can? Because there are real moves here, and the people who come through okay are almost always the ones who made them early. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, a doctor, or a licensed anything. Nothing here is professional advice, medical or financial. It's information and one working man's perspective, built on the numbers. For your own body and your own situation, talk to people who are qualified. First, the part you already feel in your knees. The work breaks you down, and it's usually not the dramatic accident that gets a guy. It's the grind. Last year alone, more than 560,000 injuries were bad enough to keep workers off the job from nothing but sprains, strains, and tears. The back goes first for a lot of people. Over 1 million workers wreck theirs badly every single year. You don't have to fall off a roof. A lifetime of lifting, twisting, and reaching does it quietly, one shift at a time, until one morning you can't tie your own boots. And the timing is the cruelest part. The most common age for a disability to start isn't 70 when you're nearly done. It's 55. Right in the window, where you're the most skilled you've ever been, the most experienced, the most valuable, with the fewest working years left to start over if you have to. The body tends to quit right when you finally got good at the job. Now, plenty of guys have a plan for this, and the plan is 2 words: disability checks. I'll just go on disability. You've heard a coworker say it like it's a backup parachute. Then you meet the one who actually tried it, 8 months into an appeal, quietly selling his tools to make rent. Let's walk through why, because it's not the safety net people think. Getting approved is brutal. Over the last decade, only about 30% of people who applied for Social Security disability got approved, and only about 1 in 5 made it on the first try. Roughly 70% get denied right out of the gate. Then comes the wait. 3 to 5 months just for an initial decision, a built-in 5-month delay before any money comes at all. And if you're denied and have to appeal, you're staring at a backlog of over 340,000 cases, averaging almost 9 months. So picture it. Your body just quit, your paycheck stopped, and the system that's supposed to catch you tells you to hang on the better part of a year with nothing coming in. And even if you win, you lose. The average disability check runs around $1,630 a month. That's about $19,500 a year, below the federal poverty line for a household of 2. Most people get less, somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500 a month. And you can't just pick up a side gig to fill the gap, because if you earn more than about $1,690 in a single month, the government decides you're not disabled anymore and the money can stop. It's a trap with the door welded shut. Now you're probably thinking, that's what disability insurance is for, the kind your job might offer. Most of us don't have it. Only about 1/3 of private workers even have access to long-term disability coverage through an employer. and it's thinnest exactly where most tradesmen work. At small shops, the kind with under 100 people, fewer than 1 in 3 workers can even get short-term disability, never mind long-term. The independent electrician, the small framing crew, the 2-truck plumbing outfit, doing the most dangerous work with the least protection. And even with a policy, it usually replaces only about 60% of your pay. Try cutting your income by 40% overnight while the medical bills climb. Stack all that together and you get the real picture. 1 year unable to work can wipe out up to 10 years of savings, a decade of doing everything right, gone in 12 months, because the body that paid the bills stopped showing up. So that's the whole. None of this is meant to scare you into a corner. It's meant to do the opposite, because almost all of it can be planned for. And the planning is the one piece that's in your hands. Your body giving out someday isn't a maybe. For a physical job, it's closer to a when. And the thing about a when, instead of an if, is that you can prepare for it. You can't stop your knees from aging any more than you can stop the sun coming up. But you can decide right now, while you're still strong, what you'll do for a living when swinging the hammer stops being an option. The trades hand you something an office worker never builds. 20 years of knowing how things really get built, what passes inspection and what doesn't, how a job actually runs. That knowledge is worth money long after your back taps out, and there's a whole second career in selling it instead of selling your body. Every trade has the other guy too. The one who saw it coming walked off the tools and onto the clipboard and does inspections now. Same money, knees intact. Building inspectors pull a median around $72,000 a year, more than a lot of the trades themselves, and the work is looking, measuring, and writing it up, not hauling it. Something like 15,000 of those jobs open up a year, and you can get certified in about a year, often building straight on the field experience you already have. Estimators do the same trick with numbers, pricing jobs from behind a desk. There's drafting, putting what's in your head onto a screen, paying in the mid-60s. There's project management, safety coordinating, teaching the next batch of apprentices everything you learn the hard way. Every one of those pays you for what's in your head instead of what's left in your back. And the timing for it has never been better. Employers can't find enough skilled people, so they care a lot more about what you know than how old you are. Nearly a quarter of workers over 50 are already planning a career change. You wouldn't be starting from zero. You'd be cashing in. 20 years. Some kid fresh out of school can't fake. The move isn't to quit the trade tomorrow. It's to stop pretending the body lasts forever. Start a certification on the side. Put a little away while the overtime's still good. Look into whether protecting your income makes sense for you, and ask somebody qualified, not a stranger on the internet. Money's complicated, every situation is different, and there's no guaranteed fix here. But the worst plan of all is the one most guys have, which is none. Just a hope that the body holds out one more year, every year, until it doesn't. Nobody likes thinking about the day they can't do this anymore. It feels like quitting. It's the opposite. The guy who plans for it gets to choose what comes next, on his own terms, with money still coming in. The guy who doesn't is the one waiting 9 months on a check that won't cover his rent, wondering how it snuck up on him. It was never going to sneak up on anybody. It was always coming. The only question, the same one we started with, is whether you saw it in time. If today's the day you start looking, you're already ahead of where most people ever get.